Soldati from Big Water Pikes, and I thought I would give you a little look at how I fish in a wetsuit, how I dress, what I carry. I do a very detailed talk about my wetsuit fishing, which I've done for 30 years, and that is in an accompanying article, but I'm a visual person, and I believe that it's kind of nice to see what I'm actually talking about here. So just to set the scene, we're going to make believe this snow is sand. We're at the beach, and you know, being a plug maker and a fisherman, you know, this is when you have some free time, you know, and this was 8 inches of snow and it's just melted. So anyways, I'm going to show you, this is my, I would say if you're going to pick one wetsuit, this would be it. It's a 5 mil, and I can fish it for most of the year. Even, you know, kind of spring fishing. If it's a little cold, the water's still a little cold, I can wear a rash top short one, or I've got a, you know, a full Farmer John that will fit under this suit just to give it some added warmth. I'll give you a little look. And what I'm showing you is all Henderson. I think you should try some different suits because different suits fit different body types, and Henderson fits me pretty well. So again, you're going to do that, and I guess an added benefit would be this light top here by NRS is a wind top, so it cuts the wind. And any of you that do any wetsuiting know that you're at your warmest when you're wet. The water inside your suit heats up from your body, and it keeps you warm. As soon as your suit starts to dry out, you're going to get cold. So the best way to stay warm is to stay wet and block the wind. Unfortunately, if you're cold and the water's cold and you want to warm up, you have to jump back into the water and get wet, and that's not much fun. So here we go. What I've done though is, I think you're going to learn very quickly, is it's nice to have two suits, because if you're fishing multiple days, that second day you don't want to have to get into a cold, wetsuit. So if you have another one, you're getting into a dry suit while your other one dries out. So, and I do have a third. I have a light one for summer, 3 mil, which doesn't give you a lot of buoyancy, but it you know, gives you a little protection, and you know, even when the water's warm and the air temperature is warm, there's still hypothermia even in the summer. So this suit does help. And then for really cold conditions, and the first suit I actually started with is a 7 mil Farmer John. So Farmer John meaning you have this part, and then you have a top that goes over it, and this is perfect for when the weather is cold. You know, I've wetsuited when it's been snowing. I've wetsuited in December. So you're going to need something like this unless you're, yeah, an Eskimo, I guess. And to the point where I'll even wear, you know, a neoprene top over that 7 mil suit, and I'm still cold. So, and what's nice about the Farmer John is I can wear the bottoms. If the waves are too big and I'm not swimming, I can wear the bottoms neoprene top and be pretty comfortable. So I also want to show you the wetsuit booties I wear have an aggressive sole, and it makes it easier for walking in the rocks, and then I can put my cleats on over that. So I use strap-on cleats. A lot of guys use, that wetsuit will use a wading boot with the cleats in, but what I like about this is I can put these on and off pretty easily. And You know, when I'm going from spot to spot, fishing in the rocks, they go on, and then they're fairly light to swim in. And then when I'm back in shore, walking along the cobblestones, just take them off quickly, have the aggressive sole so I can walk pretty comfortably. And I actually learned this from Bill Wetzel, the surf guide on Long Island. That's what he does. He probably puts them over a wading boot, but I found it's kind of the lightest shoe combination with cleats because you want that with swimming. So the other advantage of having those sandals, those cleated sandals that slip off my boots, is then I can actually replace them with a flipper. And don't do this very much, but I've done it to get to some far off rocks and actually to get across the channel at Cuddy Hunt. So there's multiple advantages to have this setup, and I think it makes it pretty easy to switch them in and out. Also going to show you what I fish with. So this is, I would say, the ultimate setup. It's a Z-Bass 25 and an ODM Evolution 4-8. So for throwing big plugs, this is just a phenomenal setup. I thought I was done getting in new rods, but I couldn't pass this one up. I actually sent some plugs to Lou Caruso, showed him what I was fishing, and asked him to recommend a rod. This is what he recommended, and couldn't be happier. So thank you, Lou. You know, if you don't have to have this set up starting off. I started off with a bailed 704, and this reel has caught a lot of fish. But the problem is if you swim with it, you're going to have to take it apart and clean it out after each trip. The beauty of the Z-Bass or the Van Staal that I had earlier is that you're doing multiple trips and just rinsing it off, not having to bother taking it apart. They're sealed reels. This one's not, but simple to take apart. So I think the last time I fished, it was cold. So I had the windbreak on. This goes on easier when your wetsuit's wet, but we'll get it on here. And I'm a strong believer in a wetsuit hood. Holds in your body heat. When you're swimming out and the big waves come, you can go underneath the wave. And I've been with far too many guys that have lost their ball cap while they were fishing with me. So the wetsuit hood is fairly comfortable. Not easy to talk in, so I'm not going to wear it very long, but when it's cold or big waves, it's a necessity. I try to keep my equipment to a minimum. Carry 2 bags, shoulder bag, and this belt bag. And what I've got on the belt is a 60-pound boga, because I know far too many guys with the 30-pound boga that say, well, I knew the fish was at least 30 pounds. So not weighing fish these days because of the condition of the stock. Just using it to control the fish as it comes to me on a rock in big waves. Pliers, these are titanium. They won't rust. But again, I've had plenty of Manly pliers that I just switched them out as they rusted. Still serve the same purpose. And I don't carry a dive knife, I carry a fillet knife. Folding fillet knife, easy to bleed the fish while I'm on the rock if I'm keeping it, and then I can actually fillet it back on shore for, easy carrying back to the truck. But I'm no longer keeping fish at now, but I still use this knife for the more detailed reasons in the article. I've got one other loop here, and this was for my stringer. When I was carrying fish, I could clip this on. When I'm on the rock and get the fish, I could actually pull this out. And it hasn't been used in a while, but it actually pulls out. I check it before I start. Pulls out pretty easily. I've got some wire on the end to get it through the gills, tie it off, and the fish is swimming around my rock while I'm continuing to fish. But I'm not using that right now because I'm not keeping fish. So, and both these bags are 2-tube bags. I'll show you. So not a lot of, don't carry a lot. Don't want to carry a lot. Just more stuff to tangle up in. So you're going to need a good light. I prefer a neck light. And to show you, so I have a belt bag and shoulder bag, camera, easy access, real easy for pictures. It's all right there. And the beauty of this bag is a custom commando bag by Tom White. No longer making bags, unfortunately, but it's a little bit bigger 2-tube, and I'm carrying 5 big plugs in this bag. So I think that's the advantage of these bags, is that you're putting plugs in the tubes, but as you can see, I've got some plugs in front of the tubes. So I'm able to carry enough plugs with me. One pouch here, my gloves. I wear gloves. Took me a little while to get used to it, but when you're swimming to rocks, oftentimes they're barnacles, and the other issue is casting big plugs with braid. It's going to cut into your fingers, so I've gotten used to it. Of course, this stay with the slot limit, tape measure, and never leave home without it. Lunker lotion to put on your plugs, keeps them from rusting, but more importantly, it will probably get you some additional strikes. Belt bag. This is the newer bag. It's from Jamie Hawley from Flatlander. And this is a 2-tube, but a little tighter one. So this one I have 3, possibly could get 4 plugs in, but these plugs are will carry my bigger plugs too. So both bags are tall bags, and we're carrying some bigger plugs here. And if you notice, these, even when they're on the outside of the tube, because of the way this sailcloth is that these bags are made of, they come out without getting hung up. Again, this is probably the least amount of equipment I can carry comfortably and have enough plugs to fish with in all the conditions I'm going to encounter. Anything more than that just gives you more things to get hung up on and to go wrong, especially if you get tumbled off a rock by a wave. This is Gary Soldati, Big Water Pikes, and just give you a little insight of what I'm wearing and fishing in. And as I had said earlier, there's a more meaty, detailed article coming out in the next few months around wetsuiting and my take on it for the last 30 years. Thank you.